All right, Donald Trump is in a full panic. The reason we know he's panicking is because he is canceling all of the economic data that he can cancel. This is the stuff that would tell us what is actually going on in the country. So the October jobs report canceled. The October inflation report canceled. The advanced estimate of third quarter GDP. This is like the first reading of whether the economy is growing or shrinking. They canceled that. Federal statistical agencies say that it's the government shutdown that meant economists couldn't collect the data. And as a result, a bunch of reports no longer exist. Now, this is the critically important part to understand. If the economy were booming the way that Donald Trump claims, he would be rushing these numbers out. If Donald Trump suspected or knew or was being told that the GDP preview or that the inflation number or the jobs numbers were good, he would be trotting them out there immediately in order to be able to say, look at what a great job I'm doing. The fact that all of those reports are canceled suggests they know the reports wouldn't be good. Now, there's another aspect to this. What Trump does want is the Federal Reserve to massively cut interest rates. The Federal Reserve only massively cuts interest rates when the economy is not going so well. When the economy is doing really well, you don't expect, demand, or request these huge cuts to the federal funds rate. When growth is weak, when unemployment may be going up, when the jobs numbers are in the toilet, when confidence is slipping, that's when you say, cut the federal funds rate and bail me out. So Donald Trump is on the one hand saying the economy is great, but on the other hand, making requests that you only make when the economy is on life support, like cut the federal funds rate 3-4 points, as Donald Trump has asked for many times. You could just let the numbers speak if the numbers were good. Instead, they are canceling all the numbers. Now, what we have is something called a data blackout. Policymakers and investors and businesses, people who would use that economic data to make decisions, are flying blind, and they're forced to rely on private estimates like the jobs numbers from ADP, as an example, because these normal government benchmarks that we, for a long time, have just expected to get every single month or quarterly, depending on the report, they are gone. And so when the jobs report disappears, workers don't know, what is the state of my industry? Should I be interviewing for another job? Do I need to change careers? What's going on? They don't know. Businesses don't know. Should we be hiring or should we be putting in place a hiring freeze? When the inflation data disappears, retirees and families aren't able to plan for what is going to happen with costs. And then if you get rid of GDP data, and we're going to get the formal GDP reading eventually, but it's that advance one that was canceled, probably because it didn't look so good. You put investors and the Fed in a situation where they don't know, is the economy growing or is it shrinking? And that increases the risk that the economic decisions that are made are going to be problematic for everybody because they are being made blind. Now, here's the really dangerous part, as if everything I just told you isn't dangerous already. While we don't have official numbers, it makes it at least possible for this administration to make up whatever numbers they want. And there's nothing we can point to say he's lying. I'll give you an example. When Trump says, oh, prices are down, we normally look at the inflation data. If inflation is 3%, prices aren't down, they're up 3%. If inflation is 2%, prices aren't down, they're up 2%. If the government doesn't publish inflation data, Trump can go, inflation's down. And while, of course, we have other non-official indicators we can point to, it puts Trump in a position, very authoritarian, very dictatorial, of being able to say, forget the statistics, forget the reporting, forget the people who specialize in this stuff. Just listen to me. I'll tell you, unemployment's 2%, he could say, or inflation is minus 1%, or the GDP is booming. The blackout is not this passive thing. It gives the White House and it gives authoritarians the power to replace facts with propaganda. And this is partially how you break a democracy. You don't have to change the numbers. Just get rid of them. Just delete them. And markets don't just hate bad news. Markets hate uncertainty. And if you talk to CEOs or investors or small businesses, they can handle a downturn that they can measure, that they know is happening. flying blind is not something that they can handle. And so when these reports vanish, corporations go into protection mode, and that is rarely bad for the economy. The bigger picture that I want to zoom out to is that if you look around the world over the last 120, 130 years, this is what authoritarians do when the data of reality start to contradict the story that they want to tell. Governments that fear bad news don't just ignore it, they suppress it. And they manipulate unemployment numbers, they hide inflation, they delay reports. And it might make the regime look weak to be doing that, but terrible economic reports will make the regime look even worse. And so they go, let's just hide the reports. And you put out propaganda instead of data. Trump already censors agencies when the facts are inconvenient, and now he's trying to do it with the entire economy. Now, the danger of this becoming normalized, if we accept presidents can just turn off the scoreboard when their team is losing, future presidents will do the same or maybe even worse. I don't care whether it's a Democratic or a Republican president in the future. I don't want the data turned off. Give me the data, let me evaluate it myself, and make the business decisions that are appropriate for that data. And so we are taking many steps towards the economic information control we see in authoritarian states happening here in the United States. And the most telling sign is Trump would only do this if he knows the numbers won't be good. If the numbers bolster your case that you're killing it, if the numbers bolster your ability to say this is the best economy of all time, you would put those numbers out there as quickly as you could. So Trump is canceling it all because he's afraid of what the numbers will say. It's a total panic, but it is looking more and more like what we expect and have become accustomed to from overtly dictatorial, autocratic, authoritarian regimes. Thanks for watching. Check out this other video. And if you like our content, make sure to subscribe so YouTube puts our videos in your feed, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple.